Question everything in pursuit of your purpose. Ask yourself, what if?
Thank y'all for joining us again for another episode of the Pursuit of Purpose podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we have with us
Mike Campbell.
Mike Campbell. And Mike, you are in a very particular space. We met, quite fortunately, through a referral from another guest that we've had on the show, a friend of ours. And we tell the folks what you do.
I am the executive director for Crime Stoppers here in Southeast Texas. And Crime Stoppers is a call center, essentially, for people to provide anonymous tips on things that they feel uncomfortable with that are happening in their community, in their school, or just while they're on the road. Hit and run. You call Crime Stoppers. We report to the police what happened, what the car was, if you give us a license number, and then they take it from there. Or if you have a child in school and the child's calling about being bullied or something of that nature, we then call the school, tell the school what happened, not the person who called us, but the person who was doing the bullying, and they call in and investigate that and then solve that problem. In the process, those who call in get a reward, and our reward system starts at $50 and goes up to $1,500.
Wow.
Now, is the reward based on the reporting or the prosecuting?
It is based on the prosecuting or the proof of information.
Okay.
So at school, it's not necessarily prosecution, but yes, they confirm with us that there was a vape found or this bullying did happen, and then we notify. But the ownership of it is on the person who calls because we don't know who they are.
Right. There's still an anonymity there.
They're given a number, and they have to go online and follow up on that number, and they have to check back on that number, and they have to know that the minute they call, they don't get paid.
Right.
It could be a 30, 60, 90-day process before any payment comes out.
So there's some measure of confirmation.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
But for an industrious and entrepreneurial type minded kid or person, they could just make themselves into an enforcement feature for you guys and go hunting.
Yeah.
That is true. We try not to make it about the money. We try about making it about a safe place, and that their community should be their safe place. And
well, I'm thinking about going back to school. I need rewards.
I'll be an informant. Good.
But how many would call and report on either one of you?
So I am curious, and I don't want to belabor this point too terribly much, but what constitutes a $50 versus a $1,500 reward?
Well, $1,500 is murder or mass assault or something like that. $50 is a vape that doesn't have THC in it.
Okay.
Vape with THC in it is $100.
Gotcha.
And it just depends. We have a point system, starts at 0.01, 0.01, and goes up to 10. So based on the infraction, if it's a 0.01 to a 0.04, then it's $50. If it's a 0.04, and things add up. A good example would be someone called in and reported a student with a gun at Lamar University.
Oh, my.
Oh, at the college campus, too?
At the college campus.
Yeah, okay, good.
And that student who called reported the gun. The officers went to the dorm where the alleged gun was, and they found pills, they found vapes, they found everything but the gun. And then the kid across the hallway says, hey, he put it in here and I haven't touched it. And so got the gun, and that boy got $700 for his report.
So the enhancements.
Because the enhancements add up to.
Okay.
Now, if you're caught with 3 vapes, they're only going to get you for the one vape, but they're going to get you the highest vape. If 2 vapes were regular and 1 had THC, it'd be $100 reward.
Okay.
So it just depends. It stacks itself.
That makes sense. Yeah.
On those pieces.
But I like the incentive. There's nothing really wrong with that. I mean, and plus people are kind of going out of their way, to report things rather than ignore things. And that's hopefully, per y'all's mantra, which is to start to basically reduce crime.
Yeah, we want people to feel comfortable that they can make a call, they can report a crime, and they're not the ones being intimidated
Yes.
or caught in the crossfire of what happened.
Right.
Yeah,
Very
because
good.
that's a thing. I mean,
Yes.
revenge and retribution for those kind of things. That's a fearful circumstance, not just for kids. I mean, that's across the board. All of us,
Right.
Right.
fall victim to that kind of thing.
Certainly.
Yeah. I mean,
So you guys maintain anonymity for them by doing this number process where they have a tracking. If they're going to report something,
yeah.
they never have to give their name.
correct. They never give their
That's
name.
amazing. I've always wondered how that worked.
Is there any ever any just for our audience, in case they're still a little unclear as to how the system works, that there's any fear of being called like as a witness or something where they have to be involved with the actual
I didn't think about that.
No, there's no fear for that, because if the police call us and say, who is number 11195, we don't know who number 1195 is.
Because the name's never been
The
given.
name's never been given. And if the name was given, it was redacted. So all the calls, whether they come in on the computer or they come in via the phone or they come in via the P3 app that is used, go to a national call center.
Right.
The national call center then sends it to the appropriate Crime Stoppers organization in that area. And then we take the information and turn it into the police. So there's two sets of eyes that go on it. There's the national call center eyes, then there's our eyes, and we redact the information that we don't want the police to have and send it on to them.
Right.
Or we redact the information we don't want the schools to have. And so they don't have access to any of that.
Right.
All they have is our notes that come in, and we don't have access. Maybe someone down the line could find it, but it's going to be a lot of work for someone, because everything that comes into the call center comes in redacted. So the phone number gets scrambled, the IP address gets scrambled. You can't go back and trace those things.
Got you.
That's
So if
really
we're
good.
watching the news and they say based on a tip to the police, then they finish the rest of the
Right.
story, that it's likely they could have gone through your system.
Correct.
That's
Generally, they say based on a tip from Crime Stoppers,
from Crime Stoppers.
they'll go through that, and that would have come.
I've actually heard that on the news based on a tip from Crime Stoppers.
Mhm.
Blah 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 blah. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the idea that there is some type of a call receiving system that is likely even out of state, out of and for sure out of the region. So it's not like they're calling someone in an office right here in your office,
Correct.
and that should hopefully make our viewing audience feel a little bit more secure in that if you encourage your child to report the information that they know, the trackability is probably less down to zero almost. So that's good. That should encourage people.
So you might remember the Tyrell Park incident.
Yeah, the Terrell
Shooting
Park.
the Terrell Park incident. So we had 15 people report from the Terrell Park incident, and 5 of those got a reward for tips that led to the arrest of the 7 people that were in there.
Wow. Okay.
So
That's amazing.
so it does work, its system, but you just have to be able to be willing to call. And
So
be
if
willing
you're
to
local here in Southeast Texas and you're watching this show and you've never done it, but you have something you might want to report, what's the number locally that they would call?
833tips.com is the IP address. The local number, I don't know.
Well, you've got it right there on your shirt. It's 409-833-TIPS. So, I mean, that's great. So is there a, like, say that they're watching this show from anywhere else in the U.S. Are there Crime Stopper organizations throughout the United States?
There are Crime Stoppers organizations throughout the world.
Okay, good.
And
That's
they all
what I
go
was looking
to one national call center here in the States.
Mhm.
And you can even call the 409-833-TIPS.
for. Okay, good.
And if you call that one, it's going to go, and then they're going to say, well, where are you,
Gotcha.
calling from? And they'll send it to that.
Route it to the right place.
route to the right place.
So go ahead.
There's a series of information they'll gather before they actually get to the crime itself. Where are you?
Correct.
Some other demographics and things.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. That's good.
So if you're in our viewing or listening audience and you have witnessed or know about a crime that you could help solve, please don't hesitate to reach out to Crime Stoppers. They'll keep you safe, they'll keep you anonymous, and they'll help make sure that the crime is resolved and justice is done.
Yes.
There are cases like this where it might be related to a missing person. It might be related to an assault or even a sexual assault case that you might know happened. You might have firsthand, you might have seen the beginning of it or what have you, and you lived in fear because you didn't want retribution from reporting it.
Right.
There are safe avenues for you to be able to help those victims get justice and help those criminals receive accountability that they deserve. So don't hesitate. Call 409-833-TIPS and report crimes.
Yes.
Make that if you see something, report something.
Report something.
You know?
Right.
And it can go back 20 years. I mean,
Right.
If it's an open case and you know
It
something,
may not even be a case.
well, but at one point it had to be
Right.
had to be a case.
Mm-hmm.
We do those back tips also. We anything that's open can get resolved through Crime Stoppers. Will initiate a reward process.
Right. Occasionally you'll even see that in news reports. They will kind of, dust off an old unsolved situation and say, so if you recall anything, if you were in that neighborhood, you happen to be in that particular, shopping center at that time, if anything comes to mind, and I presume that's all part of the same course.
Right.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And it's all hopefully in the opening part of our show today, it gives you guys confidence that you can be a part of the solution.
Yes.
We don't have to be victims in this society of people who are bad actors and do not have the best interests of most of us at heart.
And imagine what an amazing difference you could make without actually having to be known. You can actually have an extremely positive impact on a victim's life.
Yes.
By knowing that justice was being done on their behalf.
If I recall, being worked in mental health for years, I've had to call like Child Protective Services and Adult Protective Services, and they use a similar format. It is all anonymous, and they're very purposeful in taking that information. So don't let that keep you from making that positive difference.
And if you're a student and you're watching this and you know someone who's cutting themselves just that personal abuse they do to themselves, report it. Because
they need help.
We can get them help.
That's
a really good point.
That is a good point.
And see, a lot of times people see or know about things like that, and they think, well, that's not really a crime. And what business is it of mine?
Right.
But the business is it of yours is that person is headed towards taking their own life or doing something to themselves that is not reversible.
Right.
So help them, because at this moment they may not know they need help.
Right.
But they do. And they deserve it. They're worth it.
One of the things I used to teach, I worked as a volunteer trainer for our rape and suicide crisis center at a call center. And I presume they're still around. But one of the things I would often tell folks is that the reason that we use law enforcement for those situations is because they are commissioned by law to go into places that the average citizen can't. If they suspect that someone is in harm's way, they can enter a facility. And Rob could talk more about this as a law enforcement officer, that they can go into places, and emergency services can go into places that I cannot. I'm not a commissioned person to do that. So it's not a crime to want to hurt yourself. What you're doing is you're engaging people who can respond.
Yes.
Well, and I think
Exigent circumstances.
Yes.
So
the other piece too is dating. Dating is not unlawful, but when a date gets violent,
or
then
forceful,
or forceful, it becomes an issue. And you can call Crime Stoppers and report that, and we can follow up on that as well and get things accomplished. So
wow,
that's a great point.
That
you think about, I'm a girl dad. I have boys and girls, but I got 5 girls.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about this. If your daughter went on a date and she was date raped, and she's going to be feeling shame and embarrassment and solitude, she's going to feel like she's on an island and no one's there for her, but she's going to talk probably to someone at some point. And that friend may be the only person on earth that has the ability to help her.
Yes.
This is an avenue that friend can reach out through and help her without her knowing it.
Right.
Correct.
That's
Wow.
amazing. I never thought about that as that
No
correlation.
Because typically they will confide in that one person, like I said, that one girlfriend, one friend, or someone like that. And now you realize you don't have to just keep that to yourself. There are resources to respond to these terrible things. That's really good.
And I think people need to understand that while Crime Stoppers is our name, we're about helping people feel better about themselves. And again, feeling safe in their community.
Right.
And what makes that happen and what creates that idea of comfort and control. And if you know something, say something. I mean, it's as simple as that. Our motto is see something, say something, because we want people to be comfortable. We want them to know that they can walk down their street or down their hallway and not be picked on. We want them to know that they can hold their head up high and be proud of who they are.
Mhm.
And if they're a victim, then we want to help solve that so you're no longer a victim, that you can take control.
Right.
And they deserve a sense of security in their
Yes.
lives. Everyone deserves that.
Yes.
It's terribly unfair for a person who's been victimized to feel as though they have no escape from that sense
Right.
of insecurity.
Right.
And that's a great thing. Well, I want to say this before we go any further. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for being a part of this organization. Thank you for offering this as a part of your life and being a person of that sort,
Yes.
giving of yourself into this role. I know you're paid and you do a job, and that's great.
Yeah.
But this is not just a job.
Yeah.
It's more of a calling. It's more of a lifestyle
Right.
of serving and helping those who cannot or will not help themselves.
Yeah, there's such a level of ill-equipped, not for any bad reasons. It's just as citizens, we don't normally think in terms of being equipped, except for maybe just a few immediate responses. A lot of us, concealed carry and various things like that. But when it comes to bigger situations, we need to have access to agencies and organizations. And you don't have to be the solution. You are just a part of it.
Right.
And so this is an excellent orientation as to what people can do to be proactive, to have a better community, and for their families and people they care about.
And I'm going to tell you something else, is just kind of issue a little challenge out there. If you're aware of something, if you're aware of a crime or of a victim, if you are aware of something and you don't offer a solution, you don't offer help, that makes you part of the problem.
Mm,
So don't be part of the problem.
right.
Help create the solution.
Right.
That's so valuable to understand.
That's an excellent
So
point.
many of us sit by
Right.
almost with apathy,
Yes.
and we excuse it by saying, well, I'm not involved. What can I do?
Right.
This is what you can do. And not only is it what you can do, but it's what we are obligated to do
Yes.
as fellow humans.
Right.
We owe this to each other.
Right.
So,
But we like to live in our bubble,
yeah.
and
Yes.
everything's good in my bubble. Nothing happens on my street, so all is good.
Mm,
And it's hard to break out of that bubble. It
Yes.
really is, because you're afraid to put yourself out there. You're afraid that someone's going to know it's you. But in this case, the only way they know it's you is if you tell them.
Yeah.
We had a young man. Man, I got $500 last week. How'd you get $500? Well, I turned in these guys,
Idiot.
and that
Yeah.
just creates the issue.
He did it to himself.
So we do that unknowingly. We do it
Unwittingly.
Unwittingly,
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
but it's a great opportunity to know that you have a safe place
Yes.
that you can call. And
Yeah.
if you're abused or you're in a situation where you feel unsafe, call and we'll get the right people to you, whether it's at your home or your school
Right.
or at a park. Call us. Hey, I'm at so and so park and there's some bad things happening here. I need help.
Mm-hmm.
And we will notify the police and get them there to help out, or notify the school officials and get them there to help out. You don't have to be there alone.
Yeah. And in the moment when the cops arrive, if it's an urgent situation and you use Crime Stoppers as your vehicle, the cops aren't even going to know who called. So when they show up, when the bad guys say, well, who called you? They're
Right.
going to say, I don't know. I had no idea. Crime Stoppers called me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a great avenue. keep your security, keep your anonymity, and be a difference. Be the difference that's needed in your community.
Right.
Right. Anyway, thank you for that, Mike.
There's those old cliches that we hear people still to this day say, someone should do something. Someone should do something.
Yeah.
Well, this is part of that proaction, and there are other parts too. Volunteering, helping people, helping the victims of some of these crimes. This is just more or less in that same kind of that first responding type of role, but the follow-up response. And I know, between the three of us, we've all done our part, whether it's by donation of time or treasure or some part, to help those who now are victims of those unfortunate things. So get involved.
Yes. So, Mike, thank you for the explanation about Crime Stoppers. That's more than I ever really knew, understood about what Crime Stoppers does. And I know that it's very valuable for our audience to understand and have a good working knowledge of how Crime Stoppers works and how they can use it to help themselves and their community.
Well, thank you for inviting me in to share that information.
So, who is Mike Campbell and where did he come from? Where were you born, Mike?
I was born in Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio.
Yes.
So something good came from Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. So
at an early age, we presume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At an early age, yeah. So I grew up in Ohio, went to school at the University of Kentucky, left Kentucky and spent 15 years with the YMCA, and then left the YMCA and spent 7 years in Parks and Recreation.
Oh, wow.
Running an inner city recreation center. I was the only white person in the building, and I was a white male on top of that in the building. So it was interesting to learn how to work as a minority in a community and really make a difference.
So there's no Amy Poehler, no Adam Scott. It was just I'm talking about Parks.
I know what you're saying.
No,
And no, it was nothing like that, right?
No,
hopefully it was much more organized and less comedic.
No, it was comedic every day. I mean, we had a great program going on,
Good.
but it was an interesting time to see life from the other side.
Absolutely.
And then I ended up with Habitat for Humanity and worked for Habitat for Humanity for 20 years and helped families find homes in South Florida and in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and then in Victoria, Texas.
Okay.
And, my daughter had a baby 3 years ago, which brought us to Victoria. And now that the baby's 3 years old, my daughter said, "Hey, you can come a little closer now." So here we are in Beaumont to
Papa Mike.
help take care of our granddaughter and just enjoy life.
Speaking of, do you have a nickname?
I'm Pop.
Pop. Yes.
Yes, I'm Pop.
Yeah.
So you were born in Dayton. I want to go back to that a little bit. Are you an only child? Were there siblings?
No, I have a brother who's 2 years older than I am.
Okay.
And he still lives in Ohio. And we had moved from Dayton to Hamilton, Ohio. And Hamilton, Ohio is outside of the suburb of Cincinnati. Many of you might know Miami University of Oxford.
Yeah.
That was our backyard. So we would drive 20 minutes and be at Miami University, Oxford.
So what was the draw to become a Wildcat? That's interesting.
My father was a Wildcat. My mother was a nursing student at the nursing school that was attached to Kentucky.
Yeah.
When I was a senior, I took the SATs and the ACTs in October, right after I got hit by a truck. And I scored really low. So only one school accepted me, and that was in this little town in West Virginia.
Okay.
And I retook both tests in the spring. And while my parents were out of the country on vacation, I got 7 acceptance letters from 7 different schools, and I went to the University of Kentucky.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Left a note for my parents, "Hey, you can pick up the car in Lexington when you get back in town."
Well, how did that go?
Wasn't much they could do.
Okay.
You want the car? There it is.
Oh, no.
Wow.
No. So I'm just curious, though. I mean, it seems like by default, most every person involved with University of Kentucky is a basketball fan. Are you a basketball fan? Please say yes.
I'm actually not a sports fan.
Okay.
I mean, I follow Kentucky basketball.
There you go.
Kentucky football always happened during horse racing season. So you went to
Oh,
the
yeah.
track,
Yeah.
and then you went to the football game.
Yeah.
But by the time you got done with the track, you really didn't know what was going on at the football game.
Okay.
And my 4 years there, their best season was 0-10-1 in football.
Yes.
Wow.
Not exactly
So-
a football
No.
school. Not since. Yeah.
But they have improved their football tremendously.
Yes, they have.
And, you know, if someone says, who are you rooting for in the NCAA Final Four or in that tournament,
Mhm.
then it would be Kentucky.
Absolutely.
So, yes, Kentucky is there.
Mhm.
My wife is the sports fan. And
Got
so
you. Okay.
when I go home on the weekends to Victoria,
Yeah.
we have sports on from the time
Sure.
I get there till the time I leave.
Yeah.
And then I watch something else
You're getting your
Monday
education.
through
You watch the
Friday.
Derby. He's a Derby fan. No, man.
So-
I mean, go backwards. John Calipari, then you got Joe B. Hall, then you got Adolph Rupp. I mean,
So
what a story.
I was there for Joe B. Hall, Rick, and the one in between that went to Oklahoma, and then Rick Pitino.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, what was discipline like in your childhood home? Since you were the baby, I mean, your older brother would, if he were here, much like myself being an older brother, he would probably say you were spoiled rotten, which
No.
most of us older siblings would say that about our.
Yeah,
young
we
kids.
wouldn't say that about ourselves.
No.
But they would say maybe say that about us.
We were very two individual kids. My brother went to a private school because he needed smaller classes, more focused time on learning.
Okay.
And I went to the public schools, and from second grade until we graduated, we were in separate schools.
Wow.
So we didn't do a lot together, even though we were 2 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
We were best friends in elementary school with all the neighborhood kids, but as we got into high school, we kind of separated our lives one to the other. My dad ruled with the good old fashioned way of, here's the belt, boys. Come
Yeah,
on,
buddy.
let's go.
Nice.
And he was never abusive with that,
No.
but he kept us in line. We knew that if we did something wrong, we knew what was happening. Or if we knew our mom said, just wait till your dad gets home.
Yeah, buddy.
You were like, oh no, what are we going to do?
We've gone
So,
too far.
We've gone too far.
Mike, go ahead.
I was going to say, so when you were in school, what was obviously being a student took up the majority of time. What was your extra time like? What'd you do? Kind of like high school, maybe.
I ran cross country and I swam.
There you go.
So
Okay.
swimming was my forte and my gift to
Nice.
what I do. And I worked for the YMCA and I taught swim lessons and was the lifeguard. And our high school was right across the street from the Y. So I would just jaunt across the street and be at work
Sure,
and do my
sure.
thing. And at 8:00, get picked up and taken home and
Love it. Love
do
it.
my thing.
We
So
all need some measure of competition at some season of our life, whether it's little league or you said high school. That's awesome. Good for you.
so
Well, one of the reasons that I asked that question, we asked that question about your upbringing and how disciplined was, is because it's a fascinating connection between all of those who we consider to be successful or achievers in life.
Mhm.
They were all reared much like a boat is steered from the
Yes,
rear. You know,
right.
they were all given direction from the rear.
Yes.
So I find that to be fascinating. You know, in this modern time, a lot of times we talk about the sissification
yeah.
of America and the world, but especially America. And I find it so fascinating that those of us who grew up and are growing up with discipline like that, corporal punishment, not abuse, but corporal punishment,
Right.
it is undeniable that they are heads and feet above
Yes.
all the rest in their performance in life because they were taught accountability, responsibility, that
Self-discipline.
discipline. They learned self-discipline
Yeah.
through external discipline.
That's right. Like, oh, don't do that again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Discipline self so that doesn't happen.
That had a result.
That had a result. So your parents were results-driven people.
Yes.
my parents are result driven.
No, they still are. Nice.
My dad will be 90 in August.
Oh,
and my-
Congratulations.
And my
yeah.
mom is 86, and she's a nurse, and she'll be a nurse until the day they bury
Go
her
ahead.
because
Look at them.
she wants to
Look at them.
fix things. And my dad was a landscaper, an engineer, and a drafting and physics instructor.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay.
He's always thinking of ways to improve their community they live in, and she's always thinking of ways to help somebody who needs it.
That's beautiful.
Well, I'm going to say this to your mom, and I hope she sees this interview.
Mhm.
But thank you for serving the world as a nurse, because
Yes.
nursing is a calling. They're not paid enough for what they do.
Right.
They're not appreciated enough for what they do. They're not in the public eye like they deserve to be,
Right.
and they don't get enough. They don't get enough gratitude from us.
Sure.
And they are the, how do I put this? They are the crap takers of the medical world.
Yes.
They truly are.
Yeah.
They take all the crap and they make the best honey that they can out of it.
That's right.
So thank you to your mom. Thank you to nurses
Mhm.
all over the world for entering into that profession and
Right.
that calling in life.
Right.
We couldn't do it without you.
That's right.
We need you.
And truly, physicians and folks like that, they would say the same thing.
Yes.
They're brilliant at what they do, the surgeons and the other specialists, but it only happens because of the team, and that's the nursing team. And I totally reiterate all of that. Absolutely. So thank you for your service.
So what's your mom's name?
Jane
Well, thank you, Miss Jane.
Jane, yes.
We appreciate you.
And Dad, what's his first name?
Eston,
Yes,
Eston.
Eston.
Eston, that is a very unique.
It is. There are not many Estons in
The
the
first I've heard of.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of Eston.
I've heard Preston,
Mhm.
Weston, but never Eston.
Never Eston.
Yeah.
Well, definitely both of your folks sound like the kind of people that try to leave things better than they found them.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Well, look at you.
Yeah.
I mean, when they found you, you weren't here as good as you were.
They took you
You were
in
just a
and
smooth mess.
cleaned you up. And yeah.
Trust me, they earned their gray hair with me.
That's great. That is great.
That is.
Well, thank you so much for sharing about your parents.
Yeah.
That's a great origin story. So here we are, University of Kentucky. You mentioned that you worked at the Y as a lifeguard.
Yeah, I started out as a lifeguard and swim instructor.
Okay.
Went to a camp and was the aquatics director for the pool and aquatic activities for all the campers when I was a senior in high school and my freshman year of college. And then I started a camp in Lexington, Kentucky for the Lexington YMCA, my second 2 years of college. And then I just worked at the Y because it was there and they wanted me to, and I did whatever they needed me to do. Got out of school and wanted to work for the Marriott, but the Marriott says, 6 more months and we'll have you there. And the Y says, we'll take you now. So I ended up in Lebanon, Ohio. And
Okay.
Yeah.
worked at one of the largest YMCAs in the country was in
Wow.
Lebanon, Ohio, because some man wanted to have the greatest Y in the country. And that was in the 86, 87.
Okay.
And it was a beautiful YMCA, a beautiful facility in a really small town. And now they have 4 or 5 branches of,
Oh,
that,
wow.
of that one. Lebanon was known for Abraham Lincoln's stay at the Golden Lamb on his way from Illinois to Washington or Illinois to New York when he was in office as president. He would spend the night in Lebanon, Ohio at the
Really?
Golden Lamb restaurant. Yeah,
How about that? So have you been there?
many times.
And how is it?
It's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 20 years ago, but as far as I know, my mom still goes to the Golden Lamb for lunch to meet with her friends who
Really?
live in Dayton. So
And it is now, I guess, in part a historical landmark.
it is.
That's
It's-
awesome. That's
Lebanon is a historical landmark
okay.
for one reason or another.
Sure.
That's amazing. I didn't know that, honestly. And
Yeah.
I'm now that you've told me, I got to go there myself.
Absolutely.
I got to try this place.
Yeah.
Well, the summer ATP tournament is at
Uh-huh.
Kings Island there in Lebanon, Ohio.
Okay.
And they call it Cincinnati Open, the Cincinnati tournament. But
Okay.
it's in Lebanon, Ohio, about an hour away from Cincinnati.
Okay.
And so go to the tennis tournament, enjoy Kings Island with the kids, and then go to Lebanon for the Golden Lamb. And you can do all of that and be in a 5-mile circle.
That's amazing. So
Wow.
it's named the Golden Lamb. What sort of food do they serve there?
They serve a little bit of everything. It's almost a farm to table type restaurant.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I mean, you can go and you can have steak, or you can go and have a hamburger, or you can go and have meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
Come on.
It has a little bit of everything.
We're doing a commercial
so-
for the Golden
We
Lamb.
sure
we
are.
aren't even sponsored by
You're
them.
welcome.
Yeah. But that's fascinating. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So that's your introduction into nonprofit organizations.
Correct.
Was that starting out as a lifeguard at the Y and then and
Starting out as a swim team member at
or
the
a
Y.
oh There you go.
Back when I was in
So
elementary
you were
school.
a participant at the
I
Y,
was a participant at the Y.
and then
Yeah.
worked your way into being an employee, and
Mhm.
then becoming a director
Yes.
for them.
Mhm.
That's
It's
amazing.
quite an endorsement for the Y because obviously it's
What a
big
program.
part of your just personal
It was-
development. You know,
It's the YMCA is an amazing place for children and for teens to go to.
Well, that taught me. I didn't. I mean, I've been to the Y when I was a kid.
Mhm.
We had a big one over on Dowling, I believe it was.
Mhm. Mhm.
And as a kid, I went there a few times,
Mhm.
but I really didn't know what all
right.
they do.
I want to say I have a couple of sons, and they participated in some of their the league sports, and right there on Dallin. Yeah,
We had one here on Calder too.
had one here on call. Yeah,
Had a really nice one. They had
Right.
where people could stay there,
yes,
and
yeah.
they had a workout gym. A lot of the police from back in the 80s used to. That's where they worked out.
That's where they.
The first time I ever did a ride along in a police car, the cop that I was with was a really good friend. He taught Sunday school at my church and things like that. Anyway, during that ride along, he took me to the Y because he wanted to work out or whatever. So it was kind of, I got to see all the cops.
I,
There,
I did my
working out.
swimming
It's good.
lessons at the YMCA in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
So isn't that fascinating
That
how
is.
all three of us
There you
have
go.
some connection to it?
Yeah,
Yeah, the YMCA is an amazing place. It really
Yes.
does. And they're senior, the work they do with seniors now as we get older and look for somewhere to go. You can go to the Y and get a free membership as a senior and do their
Okay.
senior activities
Really?
if you're involved and active.
Well, you're just a
It is.
plethora of information
Right.
about this stuff.
Right.
That's amazing.
If you're local, I believe the large existing active YMCA is down on this. I think it's 9th Avenue in Port Arthur.
Yes,
Oh,
it
Local
is.
to,
That's right. Okay.
Southeast Texas. I know we have viewers of this particular show all over the country, but if you're in our region, go by, check it out. It might be the next place that you land for your health. And,
It's right next to the Port Arthur, that community center,
yes, yes.
where we did the Fatherhood Effect.
Yes, I believe it is
this
right
year.
there.
It's
That's
right
right.
next to that.
Mhm.
I remember.
It's a big facility. They have a big natatorium. They have a big sports gyms plus weightlifting and all that. And I think they even have classrooms. You guys mentioned different things that they can teach and whatever. So still a big part of the community. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
So from the YMCA, you've made a few brief mentions about some progressive offshoots of your journey, like where you've done things. And you mentioned Habitat for Humanity.
Mhm.
So was it from the Y to Habitat? Is that what you did?
No,
or what's-
I ended up in Parks and Recreation.
That's right. You did say
actually in Fort Worth, Texas, and I was actually at the I can't remember it today, but I worked for my wife was transferred with her company to Fort Worth.
Okay.
And while she was there, I was going to be Mr. Mom, and my 3-year-old daughter. She's a wonderful young lady now, who's an engineer here in Port Arthur. But she looked up at mommy one day when she came home, and she says, "When's Daddy getting a job?" And she says, "Why, honey? I thought you were having a good time." And she says, "I need daycare. I need to go back to where I can relate to people."
Oh,
Is at 3 years
oh
old.
my gosh.
She sounds awesome.
She is an amazing young lady, and she's not afraid to share.
It's funny you say
Oh,
that. We have our youngest boy, okay? We got a baby after the age of 40, which, if you want to test your mettle,
Right.
you could do that.
Well, you just say yes. Go ahead. Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So, yeah, exactly. You become a grandpa to your kid, basically. And so, anyway, we utilized daycare, and I was against it at first.
Mm.
And then for a short time period, we kept him home, and he did something very similar to what you're saying. When can I go back?
Mhm.
And he said, "I want to be around people. I want to be around my friends. I want to go back and have fun.
Yes.
I'm not having fun here." Oh, thanks, son.
Yeah, I thought we were having fun. We were,
Have fun.
Drop you
So-
off.
So,
yeah.
no, but it's been great for his development. I'm sure it was for her.
It's amazing for her. She is really good at communicating and
Yeah.
very good at doing things for others. And
Yes,
she
yes.
just needed that.
And if it's the right environment, that it becomes something they get to own. I started to notice my daughter was a daycare kid. And I mean, those were the friends that we birthday partied with. Those were we ended up in the bleachers with a lot of their parents through the years. So we all knew each other, but that was her school. It was her place. Like we would go to our job or our hobby shop.
Right.
That was her play. And I thought, man, don't take that identity away.
Well, there was a stigma around it, at least the way I felt, is that if you've got little ones, they need to be with the parents up until at least a certain age before they're abandoned out into the world.
Right.
But the truth is, there's an enormous amount of advantages for the kid and the parent to get them in that environment. It doesn't mean that you're slacking or failing as a parent.
Absolutely not.
It's actually giving them the best shot at development.
Yeah, and they get to communicate on their level a portion of their day, and then they come home to us and they communicate it more on our level. They get that orientation to adult. And if you're an active parent, I believe most people are, you're going to volunteer. You're going to be on the sideline helping with soccer and all that. You're going to be around. You're going to be involved. Sometimes you may even be in charge, but you don't always have to be. You don't have to run everything. But if you're there, your child will know that. They remember. And my daughter speaks highly. I'm sure y'all's kids do to this day. Like, no, thank you. I mean, they had a great time, just learning and going and evolving, but they also had their time. So I think they enjoy going to school. My kids enjoy going to school for those reasons.
Yeah. And I think it's important that you investigate and you check the places and you really do your due diligence. Not that, hey, they just opened up a daycare down the street kind of thing, that you find the right place, because there are times when kids need a change and kids need something that's right for them and it's not offered. So you have to just be aware.
Yes.
Very, very, very true. Very true. So you're at Parks and Recreation in Fort Worth, Texas.
I was in Grapevine, Texas.
Grapevine. You were Grapevine.
It was Grapevine. They had just built this brand new facility, and they wanted to build 2 facilities, but they couldn't raise enough money. So they built it right in the middle of town.
Okay.
So that the north and the south could come together in the center and enjoy recreation.
A sense of community.
And I was there for 2 years and really enjoyed that, and then went to Virginia Beach following my wife and her job and ran the Inner City Recreation Center in Virginia Beach, where I was the only white guy.
Virginia Beach is beautiful. It really is. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Virginia Beach, where all the crepe myrtles, it's like crepe myrtles everywhere.
There's crepe myrtles everywhere.
The whole city is like covered in them. And yes, after they bloom and the blossom, it looks like snow. Different colors of snow. It's everywhere. It's crazy. It's like a wonderland. It's like some kind of magical place you'd see in a fairy tale book.
That's beautiful.
The cherry blossoms in Washington do the same thing.
Okay. So similar to that then. Yeah. Okay. Now, when I think of Grapevine, I think of the Grapevine Mall, which is a great mall, and Great Wolf Lodge.
Great Wolf Lodge wasn't there when I was there.
Of course not.
The wineries were there, and we had the blessing of the vines in the spring. And
that's cool.
And the Gaylord Center is there too.
The Gaylord Center, but that wasn't there when I was there.
No, that's all fairly new. Yeah.
So Grapevine has grown.
Yes.
So you were only there for 2 years?
Yes.
And then you went to Virginia Beach. What'd you do in Virginia Beach?
Ran an Inner City Recreation Center, the SeaTac Recreation Center. And I was, working with kids and adults. We had a big seniors program and we had a large kids program. And the hardest thing in that community was feeding. And so we started a program to feed the kids after school so they had a good meal when they went home.
Okay.
And we made sure they had food on the weekends to take home to their parents.
Wow, that's a huge.
But we also learned that if we sent food home during the week, the parents would eat it and not have the kids eat it.
Yes.
So we fed the kids at the recreation center.
Smart.
And we would have 100 kids for dinner every afternoon at the recreation center. They came and spent the day, and we played and gave them a safe place.
And it's unfortunate that great programs like that had to kind of learn up. What's a better way of doing this? Because you don't know until you start getting feedback. A lot of our public schools around here started doing the 3 meals, and the last meal may just be like a sandwich or something. But they weren't guaranteed those kids are going to eat till they got back for
Right.
breakfast, or they would send home backpacks and realize at some point, because they could hear the kids are fairly honest. They'll tell you who ate their chips.
Mhm.
You know, you're like, oh, we're not feeding the grown-ups. No. So
Well, but we would try on the weekends, and
yeah.
I don't think I ever turned away anybody who said, "Hey, I need a plate"
Yes.
in the afternoon that showed up to the facility.
For sure.
That's amazing.
That is.
And the other part of that is you put yourself, you offer yourself more as a mentor to these kids, because when you're feeding them like that, you're showing them how we should live.
Yes.
You're not just providing food for them. They're seeing this is what adults do. They take care of kids. They help kids. They do
Right.
things for other people. You're showing them a servant's heart.
Right.
I love that. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, there's I'm not speaking particularly of the program you were involved in, but having had friends who were involved with various programs, one of the things they began to do, they started noticing over time, they had to break free of this this sympathetic view of these folks and have more of an empathetic view. And so when they would have these some mostly kids, but some adults under their charitable situation, at some point they would involve them in the charitable. They would say, okay, now you come and you volunteer, you help us distribute, and so once they had more buy-in, then you're basically kind of creating a new culture, as opposed to just sit and wait until you guys open the store. They're ready to work. And I started noticing, because you have to kind of learn from mistakes, like, well, why are folks at these older and older ages still showing up with their hand out? They should be more productive. Well, maybe we didn't involve them in being productive. So those are some of the learning curves that good programs have to take it to another level. Otherwise, they're just perpetuating the problem at times, unfortunately.
Yeah, we created the CTAC Neighborhood Assistance Program, SNAP. And from that, we created youth sports. So we did soccer on the weekends. We did flag football.
That's
we just
amazing.
really made an effort to do these extra things.
Yeah.
And some
I
of the
love
other,
that.
some of the other recreation centers says, why are you doing that? You don't have to do that. All you have to do is open the door. And I said, I know you have to open the door in the morning. But if we open the door in the morning and close the door at night and don't offer anything sustainable, then we won't be productive with kids and participants. And that's what brought them in.
Right.
And they just loved it at that point.
There's no
really
growth
did.
if you're not doing something else.
we-
That's really good.
Yeah, we got their parents involved as coaches and as volunteers. I just took my YMCA knowledge and said, okay, let's make this what we do, and moved it forward from there.
Right.
So we worked at the YMCA, became a director there, moved into Parks and Recreation, and now you're into.
Well, then went to Habitat. 20 years at Habitat. When my wife was moved to South Florida, I found this job that was actually the president of the board was the retired board president of the YMCA. So when we met, we just hit it off. And you talk about the perfect circle.
Kind
of meant to be.
Shared passions. Yeah.
So what was that like? Habitat for everybody. I mean, most everybody probably knows about Habitat for Humanity. They do really good at marketing and raising awareness because they need funds.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of advertising and TV shows that feature Habitat for Humanity.
Even had a former president involved for decades.
Jimmy Carter put the face on Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
He was a volunteer. He was never on there. He met Millard Fuller, was the founder of Habitat. And he and Millard got together and he said, Millard, you want to make this work? I'm your man. And Jimmy went out and just started promoting it until the day he died. I mean, he was always pro Habitat, and he made such a difference to so many families in Georgia with his Habitat participation and career, and then around the world, because we had Jimmy Carter work days where they would show up somewhere internationally and somewhere in the United States and spend a week building homes. New Orleans got, I don't know, 40 homes through Habitat in a 2-week period through the Jimmy Carter work field.
And these were probably in existing neighborhoods. They would raise one to the ground and put one in its place, or
these were actually vacant neighborhoods or vacant land that they they acquired, that the local Habitat acquired,
Okay.
and they built communities
Gotcha.
in it.
Gotcha.
It's hard to pay for deconstruction, removal, and all
Sure,
of that,
sure.
and build a Habitat home.
So
So
typically Habitat then builds, they don't build on existing lots, they build in acquired lots. Is that what I'm hearing?
correct.
Okay.
One way or another, they acquire the lots, and we
Mhm.
call it infill construction.
Infield.
So we go to a community and we see a street and think we can make a difference on this street.
Right.
Let's go. There's 4 vacant lots. So we'll
Right.
go and work with the realtors or whoever, the city. If the city has acquired land, the city may give us the land.
Mhm.
If they don't, then we work with the realtors and the owners, and they can do a write-off on their land and make it a donation.
Okay.
And so we go in there and we do that.
Right.
While we're building those homes, we also started a community revitalization
Okay.
with Habitat, and we would volunteer to paint the homes of the neighbors next to, on each side of them and across the street from them. If the neighbors could bring in some volunteers to do the work, we would find the paint.
Right.
They could help pay for the paint. They could make a donation to us, and we would paint those homes and
Mhm.
improve that through what we called the curb appeal program.
So Habitat for Humanity, were there, because the painting sounds like now you're kind of drifting more from top bottom up construction to more remodel. Were y'all into the more remodel, or that was about the extent of it? Most of it was full construction.
It depends on where your organization is and what's available.
Okay.
So we did a little bit of neighborhood revitalization, which was the remodeling of homes for families that lived in those homes that were in the affordable category that we would serve.
Mhm.
We would do new construction, and then we would do what they call a brush with kindness, which is this exterior paint.
Okay.
So we would go out and we would
Yeah.
paint the neighbors' homes so their homes look nice, as well as the new home that was just built. And it just helped build a sense of community. It's how can we bring the community together and not invest in building something new for this one, and then the neighbors on either side and across the street, like, wow, look at them. They got a new house.
Mhm.
We're just stuck here and nothing's happening for us.
Mhm.
So we wanted to reach out and do this brush with kindness to
I like
say,
that. That's
we
really
want
cool.
to help. We want
Everybody wins.
we want everybody here to make this block difference. And it was amazing the difference that could happen on a street when you helped each other clean up.
Yeah.
When someone said, they're tired, they're disabled, they're, and they own their home, but they just can't do that work.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, here's a group of young, vibrant people that come together to do this. In the spring, we would have spring break kids. And in North Carolina, we actually built a lodge to sleep 40
Oh, wow.
on our property so that those 40 kids could start coming in the end of February and all through March, the first couple of weeks of April during their college spring breaks, and do work for us and volunteer
Nice.
for us.
That's amazing.
Increase the number of volunteers.
And you see that still to this day. Maybe it's high school and spring break, but definitely like colleges, you'll see whole divisions of like sports teams and stuff, or maybe fraternities and sororities, and that'll be part of their give back.
Yeah, you should invite the Habitat for Humanity of Beaumont in for an interview with this and talk to them
Okay.
about what they're doing and how they're making a difference here in Jefferson County.
We would love to do that.
Yes, we would.
We would love to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know who she is, but
We'll work that out.
We will. Yeah, but good endorsement. Thank you.
It's a good find.
That's
20
a great
years.
idea.
20 years.
20 years with the YMCA
With the Habitat.
with Habitat.
So that's your longest tenure
Correct.
of all
Okay.
your adventures.
Mhm.
That's a big chunk. 20
It is.
years.
It
You got
is.
to really, see some impact and some changes and see what difference you're actually making. And how long were you with Habitat as a director? Weren't you? Is that
No,
correct?
I was full 20 years. I was executive director in South Palm Beach for 11 years. I was
Okay.
executive director in Winston-Salem, North Carolina for 7 years. And then I was down here for 3 years.
So you came here as a director for Habitat for Humanity,
To Victoria.
Okay,
Yeah.
to
So,
Texas.
Okay.
Yes.
Texas is a big place. There's a lot of here.
So-
There's a lot of
A lot
here.
of here.
Yeah.
In Victoria, I stepped
Okay.
in 2023
my goodness.
to run that program, and I did that program until February of 2025,
Okay.
and then I retired.
No, I want to eradicate that word.
Right.
Because you did not retire,
Right.
my friend. You reinvented and
There it
repurposed
is.
yourself.
There it is.
And not only that, but you stepped into a role that's very different from all the rest.
Yeah.
The role that you stepped into now is an enormously impactful role for a community.
Yes.
It is, but the hardest part about this role is that we're anonymous.
The organization is not anonymous, but
Well,
they don't need to be.
Well, we are an anonymous organization, so it's hard for us to go out and seek funding because we're anonymous. So, we want people to, we're a nonprofit. We have to raise all of our money. We get no city funding. We get no county funding. We get no state funding, no federal funding. We go out and raise the money every day. But someone says, well, I want to be advertised by you. Well, we can advertise that you support Crime Stoppers, and that's not a problem. But we can't advertise you to the people who are that are benefiting and the people who are being arrested, because we don't want to put a mark on you.
Right. So since we're at this point, I'm going to go ahead and plug this part into the show. If you're watching this and you understand and your heart relates to the value of what Crime Stoppers brings to a community, and you realize this is a worldwide service, and it's a local impact in every local community.
Yes.
And wherever you live, and especially right here where we are here in Southeast Texas, Beaumont, Orange, Port Arthur, Jasper, Silsbee, Lumberton, all these areas,
Orange.
Nederland, Port Neches, Orange, all these local communities. If you're a member of one of those communities and you have it in you, the ability and the desire to give and help this organization, how can they do that?
Well, I mean, they can do it. We always look for volunteers to help us at our different weekend events. So during the months of May, June, July, and August, we're at events on Saturdays, we're at events on Sundays, we're at school events, we're at community park events, we're at gathering spots, and we always need volunteers because it's hard to work 7 days a week.
Yes.
And it's hard to be there all of the time. So we always look for volunteers. And
So
then
you don't even have to have a big wallet.
No.
Just spare some time and go help.
And then we have the course, reporting. It's important to report. The money that we raise goes to the programs that we run. The money that's given as rewards comes from the court system.
Okay.
So while your money is not part of the rewards piece, it helps us keep our operations running.
Yeah.
Court systems. So when they have to pay their bail or they have to pay their fines, we get a portion of that from the court systems to
redirect towards reward money. That's really
reward
good.
money.
That makes me happy. Like
Yes.
that helps the criminals pay for them getting caught. That's great. I love that. That's a beautiful thing.
but monetary donations are great.
Yeah.
If you have kids in school and you want to earmark it to their specific high school or their specific middle school or junior high, all you have to do is earmark it for that school, and we will assign it and make it a restricted fund for that school and that school program. Our goal is to create campus chapters at all of the high schools in the area, and that would be 37 campus chapters
Okay.
based on the high schools and the private high schools that are in the 4 counties that we serve. Get into the junior high, that adds another group of 30 or 40 schools to it. We really want to see it grow there. But then in the community, just making people aware, don't walk and feel unsafe. Know that you have Crime Stoppers. Call us and use us and help move this forward.
Right.
That's amazing.
It is.
So, in as far as a donation, I know a lot of people, and I've been this way in my life at different times in my life. You feel like, well, I've only got this much money. It ain't gonna make a difference. I may as well just go to McDonald's. Well, I'm gonna tell you, if all you got's $20, give it.
Yeah.
Give it not because of how much you think it can't make a difference, but because you really don't know how much of a difference it really can make.
That's right.
And whatever you have it in you to give, that's just the seed. That's
Right.
just the start.
Right.
It'll get more, it'll get better.
Mhm.
But your $20, it makes a difference.
It does. I ran the not-for-profit for about a decade. Didn't spend as long in the not-for-profit world as you have, but boy, what we could do with a little, what I could do with $10, what I could do with 20,
Yeah.
what I could do with 100 would impress you guys as potential donors. What these guys can do with a modest amount of money, and if you get a contingent of people, and who knows, maybe you are head of an organization, maybe something akin to maybe the Scouts or some other community organization for children. Do a fundraiser. Yeah, it's good for the kids. They see directly where it goes, and they'll get to meet Mike, and he can tell more about the program. And man, they'll that sense of giving back, but implanting that, if you will, and seeding that in young children in their minds to say, this is your community, own it, keep it well, protect it, and do good things for it. And so this would be an excellent organization for them to be involved in.
So we're growing. We're trying to grow our campus chapter. So we want people we want parents or students to recognize that you can make a difference in your school, and you can be part of a campus chapter program. And that group gets together, and they get to talk with their campus police. They get to talk with their school administration, and they get to learn leadership skills and development skills and promote safety amongst their school. They can be involved in we have a state conference coming up in February. We'll be hosting that over at Ford Park.
Oh, wow.
And that state conference is for students across the state. We'll have about 200 to 250 students from across the state of Texas coming into that. And locals can come to that and learn and help and maybe develop their information from that program.
So grown folks too, like parents can come?
Yes, you can come.
Okay.
Wow.
We'll let you.
Okay. So what age group of students are you looking for? Is there an age bracket?
Junior high and senior high are who will participate in the conference.
Okay.
And a lot of those will come from different campus chapters across the state.
Very good.
But we'll also have a track there for people who want to start one at their school, or for adults who want to learn about what Crime Stoppers is. There's a track for adults just to learn all of the stuff about Crime Stoppers and how we work. I mean, some people say crime is a hard word, but we want to stop crime. So we're Crime Stoppers.
Mm-hmm.
We could be stoppers of crime, but that just doesn't flow very well.
No.
Stay with the name. I like it.
I
It's a
do
good
too.
brand.
I do too. And people make their own personal, family decisions and fiscal decisions based on your mission, which is they want to have safe communities. They want to live and they want their children to enjoy certain freedoms and liberties that they don't want restricted because of a fear or a threat. And so, making your modest deposit and encouraging your kids to be involved with some of those chapters, those campus chapters. If you're a teacher, if you're in administration, look and maybe putting that out amongst your staff and your faculty to see if you have some volunteers to say, yeah, I'll sponsor that club. And I'm sure if they have more questions, they could contact you.
They can.
Yeah.
They can call the 409-833-TIPS.
And ask for Mike, and Mike can give you more, orient you on how to get that organized and whatever resources you guys have. And let's get that ball rolling, man.
Yep.
How hard is it to start a chapter?
How hard is it to start a chapter? Depends on how active the people are who want it to start.
Okay.
I think that we have to get school administration and a teacher to be a supervisor of that. And then after that, it's recruiting students who want to make a difference.
Okay.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, back to you. Do you consider yourself to be a success?
Absolutely.
I love that. He didn't even hesitate.
No.
He didn't even think about it.
Right.
Absolutely. Success is not about money. Success is about using your hands to make a difference in my world. And I have always known that I am a community person, that I enjoy helping people, and I have found jobs that allow me to do that.
That's wonderful.
It is.
That's wonderful. And looking at your journey as an outsider, looking at you, you have been placed in this path by your creator, or at least it looks that way to me. That you have been a tool.
I am a tool, I'll tell you that.
Now, I didn't mean that as a derogatory word.
I didn't say it as a derogatory.
I was saying
I am
you
a
have
tool.
been the builder's tool.
Yes.
Now, your wife may agree with your sentiment. You know, yep, he's a tool, but I see you as a tool for creation.
Yes.
And thank you for your positive attitude that you are a success. I'm glad you have that perspective on yourself, and really thank you for sharing your story through us to our audience. I think they're gonna glean a lot from this today, and the knowledge of that a career and life and a success story can be built out of service.
Yes.
That is a great example for those who say, well, how am I ever going to attain success? I'm going to spend my life working in nonprofit organizations just like this.
Just like this.
So well done, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yes.
I'm very grateful that you've shared that with us and our audience today.
Yes.
So do you have anything, is there anything that we missed about Mike Campbell, his life, his journey, his purpose, and maybe even his future that you'd like to share?
No, I just like to give back, and I'm glad to be here to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Take care of my granddaughter, and just enjoy life. So,
Pops.
Yep. Pops.
That was actually one of my original nicknames. Was going to be Pops. Well, no, they were going to call me Poppy. That's what they were going to call me. But it converted to Pop or Pops because my little granddaughter, that was the first thing she called me.
Yeah.
So it was over.
Right.
It stuck.
It stuck.
And she said it so cute and sweet that nobody's going to correct that.
No.
So you and I share the same Pawpaw nickname.
That's awesome.
So
That's my nickname, Pawpaw.
is it?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of questions that traditionally I ask as we close the show. They're my favorite questions. But before we do, Chuck, is there anything that you'd like to ask as we close? Or
No questions. Just just thank you for your lifetime of service, man. You obviously, that you came from a family who, that was kind of they're oriented that way, and put that into you picked up on it. And obviously, I like the early years of instructing. We're all kind of we should be teachers by nature, whatever our talent or gift or whatever our specialty is. And obviously, it's not really about swimming. It's about training young people to have confidence, and that seems to have been a theme all along. And I know as a director, you probably found yourself doing a lot of instructing and encouraging, not just, the organizing and the budgeting. There's a little more to it than that. It seems to be the consistent theme.
well, I think we need to encourage everybody every day.
Absolutely.
That encouragement is what moves people forward, and discouragement is what keeps them down.
Yeah.
And we should never be discouraging for our children, for our grandchildren, for our neighbors, for the people who come in the door.
for ourselves.
For ourselves. And it's just being encouraging. We have to make a difference.
Right.
I love that.
I do too.
That's beautiful.
The pride of Dayton, Ohio.
So
No.
No, I do
I think
appreciate,
so.
and I appreciate. I'm sure a lot of folks you grew up with probably, they probably didn't have to because there's good industry there. They didn't have to get too far away from their origin, but you didn't seem to be afraid of that. Like, no, let's go to Texas, let's go to Florida, let's go to Virginia.
No, I was all about leaving town.
Yeah. Obviously, you went out of state to go to school. You're like, I'm out of here. So you can pick up the car where I am.
that's a great story.
That is a great.
I'd like to send out another thank you to your parents.
Mhm.
I'd like to thank Eston for always being there to help guide your ship from the rear as was needed, and to help, for your mom and your dad. They built you into a man that could serve the world.
There you go.
Because that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So thank you to them.
Yes, thank you.
And I would wager that you did the same with your kid and
Both of
your kids, and that they also appreciate that similar upbringing.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
And if not, it's not too late. We can go beat on them a little bit, straighten them
Well,
out.
they were not naive to what mom and dad were doing.
They-
Mom's a nurse and dad serves and these things. And my kids have said that later. They know what we do, and they know the reasons that we do it. And it's more than just a paycheck. And I kind of think that rubs off on them a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I was Mr. Mom, so the kids knew that I was always at home.
Yes.
One way or another, I
Yes.
was always at home.
Until your daughter was ready for you to go to work.
That's right.
So the final two questions that I'll ask you, they're my favorite questions throughout the whole show. And the first of them is, if a young person's watching this, and let's say they're, relatively like young, 17, 18 years old, at the cusp of life, and they see your journey as something they aspire to become, what advice might you give them?
Just continue to be positive and make a difference in the world. That each person you touch, it will be a touch that's always remembered. So make sure it's a good touch, and that you are open and willing to accept change and to embrace what's put in front of you.
That's good.
That is good.
That's good advice.
Yes.
That's I love that.
too.
Okay, so my last question, and it's my favorite. So, if you could go back in time, before you ran away to Kentucky, before you stole the car and dumped it off on the side of the road and said, "Good luck, y'all, come get it." No, I'm kidding. But if you could go back in time and give some advice, whisper in your own ear at about 16, 17 years old, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Be willing to accept criticism.
Oh, yes.
That I was always resentful when people dished on me.
Really?
When people, I guess, just had that negative push, that I would look at myself and I would get down on myself because of their negative push, and thinking, today it's like, I don't care what either of you say about me. I know who I am. I know what I can do, and I know I can make a difference.
Yes.
Back then, it was kind of like, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I need to change. And sometimes that was right, and sometimes that was way wrong.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing is to
That's very profound, Mike.
just think back to,
Yes.
I really shouldn't let what they say bother me.
Yeah.
And who are they anyway?
Yeah.
That is really good. I
Yeah.
appreciate
I
that.
do
Thank
too.
you for sharing that. Is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience before we close?
I just think it's important to know who you are. And when you look in the mirror in the morning or at night, that you made a difference in somebody's life today.
That's great.
It is.
That is so profound.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful that you were willing to be victimized. Be a guest on our show today. For our audience's knowledge, before we started the show, Mike thought that he was only going to be 30 minutes or less. And then he kind of taunted us with some self-deprecation and said that there's really not even more than 30 minutes worth of information. But here we are, an hour and 20 minutes
Here we are.
into the show, and it's been full. It has been nonstop with very in-depth and valuable insights and wonderful stories. Your life is great. You've done a very good job living it fully. So thank you.
Yes.
We have to give that grace to God,
Yes, we do.
that no matter what we do or how we do it, He's always there for us.
That's right.
So we have gifts that we give our guests that have been on the show. And as you can see behind me is a very special tree that only grows at the Pursuit of Purpose studio. It is our very own money tree. And we encourage each guest to reach over and grab and pick a piece of fruit off the money tree for your very own souvenir. So it's your turn. Go ahead and reach past me and grab you a piece of fruit.
All right.
That's yours to keep.
Yeah.
And it's just a souvenir. It's a real $2 bill. And we went ahead and and defaced it a little bit and put a seal on it.
You get arrested for that.
And
I could call Crime Stoppers.
you should do that. See if you get the $50 reward.
Your reward will be $2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, send me the check.
And the other thing is that you live a life according to this principle that we espouse here anyway. And are you familiar with the golden rule?
Yes.
You are? Would you
Yes.
mind reciting it?
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Very good. And
Now it's a little longer than that because there's pieces on the front end and back end, but that's the thing I looked at every morning at the kitchen wall, at the table as I was growing up.
There it is.
And I'm really proud to hear you say that too.
Yes.
That little end that you gave there is how we do this part of the show.
Mhm.
The next gift that we're going to give you, we're actually going to induct you into a club. Okay? You're going to be the newest member of the Golden Rule Club. And as such, I'm going to go ahead and present this to you. But since you started out that way, I'm going to explain the purpose of this. This is a Golden Rule marble, and you're welcome to take it out for the camera or for yourself. And from this day forward, you will be charged with carrying this on your person. Okay? And I'll show you. I'll show you mine since you have.
Yeah, I
yours.
saw you put it in your pocket when you got up from your desk.
Yeah.
No, mine's always in my pocket. In fact, so much to the point that my words have worn off. Of it.
Your words have worn off.
It's still there, but just really faint.
Mine's in
So,
my office, friends. I still have it every day with me.
so the challenge is to carry this on your person as a constant reminder that you build in every endeavor you undertake, you build it upon the principle of the Golden Rule. And as you said, there's a little more to it than just the common part that we all recite. And the most important part to me that I've learned about the Golden Rule is it's do unto others as you'd have them do unto you if the roles were reversed.
Correct.
Because if you only focus on the first part that we're all taught, it's still selfish.
Yes.
It's still all about you.
Do it.
But as soon as you add that if and say the rest of it, you place yourself in their position. You work really hard to ascertain where they're coming from in their life.
Right.
And that's what makes it so important. It imparts empathy into those who live by it.
My grandfather used to tell me, be nice.
Nice.
Just be nice.
It's a powerful set of 2 words right there.
It is.
Be nice.
It is.
Well, Mike, thank you. Thank you for sharing your life and your time with us today. Thank you for sharing with our audience. For all of you out there in our audience, thank you for allowing us to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we've had with us
Mike,
the Mike Campbell,
Yes.
a life lived in service.
That's it.
Thank you guys very much. We'll talk soon.
all right.
Question every